So welcome everybody. Thank you for being here, for being willing to step into this experience of the present moment, and just for being you, and not you the personality, or you the history, or you the body or the mind, but the real you, the awareness that's there underneath all of that, underneath all the beliefs, the thoughts, the opinions, the ideas, your true self. And that's what we'll explore, that's what we'll step into tonight. So we'll spend probably most of our time doing a practical exercise, so directly just diving into this space. And I'll try and leave some time at the end if you'd like to ask some questions or whatever else comes up. But during the whole class, there's no need to divide the experience, the class, into practical and non-practical or this or that. You can step straight into this instant right now just by focusing your attention on what's being said, on what's happening, and just letting any thoughts about that come and go. We don't need to get rid of the thoughts. We can just allow them to pass in their own time. Okay, those thoughts don't belong to you. They're just coming to visit. So just treat them like good visitors. Don't pay them too much attention and just let them pass in their own time. Alrighty. So let's start. And you might want to feel free to close your eyes if you'd like to, or you can keep them open if that feels more comfortable. And let's start by just taking our attention, just sitting comfortably, and taking our attention into the body, just feeling what it's like to breathe in and to breathe out. Just moving attention to those sensations of the breath coming in and the breath going out. Now those sensations aren't all that interesting to the mind, to thought. So you may have thoughts trying to grab your attention, trying to pull you back. But whenever that occurs, just bring your attention back to this breath. Just allow your attention to drop into the body. And with each out breath, just let the body relax into the space of this moment. There's nowhere to be, nothing to achieve. Not even anything that you need to do. As you sit here now, but just allow the body and the breath to function perfectly on their own. Notice how when we leave thoughts alone, there are no problems right here and now. There's nothing wrong with this moment. There's no need to change anything in order to be at peace. And in fact, the only thing that stops us from being at peace is our constant attempts to change things, to improve, to find a better future. So keep pulling attention away from that mind-created world of past and future and problems. And put that attention in the body, in the breath. So with each in-breath, just check, make sure that your attention's here now. And with each out-breath, just let that attention sink deeper into the body, deeper into the space that's inside you. And as that attention sinks deeper inside, just take a look around and see if you can find the one who's creating all these thoughts, the one who makes all the noise. Just see if that one can be located. The one who comments on how well you're doing or how poorly you're doing in your mindfulness practice and in your life. The one who judges, the one who labels what you perceive, what you hear. The one you usually refer to as me. As your attention goes inside your body, just see if you can find where that one is located. And what you'll notice as you go deeper into the body with your attention is that you can't find anyone who's creating these thoughts. That you can't find the one who's thinking, the one who's labeling. All you can find when you look inside is this empty space and the sensations, the thoughts, the stuff that's happening within that space. And of course, normally all our attention goes to what's happening, to the thoughts, the feelings, the sensations. Just for now, also notice the space in which all of this inner world is happening. So as the sensations of breath arise, notice what that sensation is happening within. Or if there's some tension or some feelings in your body right now, notice that they're surrounded by this emptiness, this space. So just keep exploring inside as I speak, and just let the words point without trying to understand them or getting lost in them. So inside, you find there's activity, there are things arising, and there's the space in which everything arises. And within your experience, the things, the thoughts, the feelings are continually changing, or they're continually arising and dissolving. But what stays the same is they're always arising and dissolving in this space, in this stillness, silence. That's the one constant in every life. And that space in which everything arises, we could also call awareness. Everything happens within this awareness that you are. The same awareness that's always been watching in the background your whole life. It's never changed, never grown or shrunk or won or lost. It's always been. Clear, vast, colourless, shapeless. From this, everything comes, back into it, everything goes. We've spent our whole lives focused on the things that come and go. These events, these thoughts, these stories. We've been so lost in them that we never noticed this awareness, this quiet stillness that's always been there, always been in the background, watching this life unfold. So as you watch the movement of breath, and as you feel the sensations connected with that, also sense the awareness that watches all this. Sense your own presence as the one who experiences everything. And whenever attention is drawn into those thoughts, those stories, just gently come back to first noticing the breath, and then sensing your own presence as the watcher of that. It's as if the awareness that you are has two aspects. This stillness, this beingness that just allows everything to arise and disappear within it. And this active attention that moves here and there, notices this and that. And this attention is what we want to shift in our practice. We want to shift this attention from the stories, the concepts, the abstract world of thinking to this inward looking, this looking back at who or what you are. So as each breath comes, feel that experience. Live that completely. Allow each breath to be exactly as it is. And allow it to draw that attention deeper into this moment. Into the body, to the sensations that are arising now. And then it's almost as if the attention is being drawn back behind the eyes, back into the one who's looking. And it's hard to describe, but you can almost picture this attention as if it was light shining from your eyes, shining from you, just drawing back and back, pointing back at yourself. These words are just clumsy pointings, pointing at something that can't be described in words. So disregard them as soon as you've heard them. And just keep looking within. Noticing what you are. and noticing the tendency to get drawn back into those mental abstractions, back into the stories and the concepts. Whenever you notice that process at work, smile, be grateful, and come back to body and the breath. Just stay, keep attention there. Thoughts aren't needed here now. You can just enjoy the experience of what is without any need to consider the past or the future. Be they thoughts of past, thoughts of future, or evaluations of the present. Just leave them be. Notice how they arise without your effort, without you creating them. They come on their own and they leave on their own. So let them do so without disturbing them. Keep coming back to this body, this breath, right here. Notice how even to say this body is to tell a story, to create a concept out of the many different sensations that you notice from moment to moment. Just leave those ideas alone. And be with the experience instead. Just feeling those sensations without needing to call them anything. Now, of course, your mind can think of 100 better things to do than to just sit and breathe. It seems so pointless when we're lost in time and mind. But notice how in full awareness of just one breath, everything's perfect just as it is. Notice how when time dissolves, we move into the space of just this. There's no need to do or achieve or become anything. So perhaps your mind lectures you about your mindfulness practice. Perhaps thoughts come and tell you that you're not doing well enough, that you need to work harder, that you're not making progress and you should just give up. And all those thoughts cling to the belief in this I, in this separate person, this separate self that we imagine to be there inside us and that we can never find. So when you move into this space of presence and of awareness, look inside and see who is there. Look inside and see if you can discover this separate one. When I look, I can sense this awareness, this presence, that's all. That sense of I, it's only there within the thoughts themselves. It rises and dissolves, that sense of I, within this space of awareness that never leaves, that's always been there. So which one is the real you? Which one deserves your attention? Those thoughts will continue to clamour for attention and to try to suck you in. But whenever you step out of thinking, whenever you step into the space of this awareness, then you'll know this is who you truly are. The rest was just a story arising for a time and disappearing. Beautiful in its own way, especially when you don't confuse it with who you are. So I invite you now to open your eyes if you've had them closed. To stretch the body if you need to. But not to allow your attention to slide back into that world of stories. So as you move a little closer to the world that we normally inhabit, of conversation and ideas and all these things, stay with this awareness, look from this awareness. And you can sense that when you look at this awareness, when you pay attention to the background of your experience, that it's universal. It's not different. My experience of that is not different to yours. And although we look different and we're different conditioning, the pure awareness that's there in the background is the same in everyone. And what happens in this for humans is that this awareness gets drawn into these thoughts that create identity through stories of past and future, through memory and anticipation. This self-image is born of me, what type of person I am and what happened and what I want. And awareness is drawn into that. And we seem to suffer. But as soon as you draw that attention back into just this pure awareness that's there, then the suffering dissolves. And even the suffering was just an idea, was just a temporary experience that's going as well. And so I want to emphasize that there's no improvement possible for this awareness. The awareness is now as it always has been, always will be. A journey is one from being lost in thought, being completely enthralled by the thoughts that arise in mind, to noticing who you are, who you've always been. So I wanted to read something that I found just before class tonight, and then I'll ask if there are questions. So this is from a book that I really like. It's called, I'll hold it up if you can read it. Might be a bit shiny. I'll post a link with the class. It's called Sitting at the Open Door of the Heart by John Grenovich. And he says, forget spiritual. The strongest of all illusory ideas and concepts are spiritual ones, that you're getting somewhere spiritually. I'm sure we can all relate to these thoughts about progressing in your practice somehow or not progressing. Who is getting somewhere spiritually? True spirituality is the end of the one, the knower of it. So the end of getting lost in those thoughts of me. A lot of people start to feel like they're special because, wow, I'm a spiritual person. I'm bringing a lot of light into the world. Forget all that. Just find yourself and be yourself. Just be that. Because there's still someone there that's holding on to something and being something special. Now you're someone special. That's really hard to get rid of because they feel it. So that's why I emphasize not becoming, improving, changing, progressing in any way. It's because only the self-image can do that. Only the imagined self that exists in time can get better, can change. You, the awareness, the only change is remembering that you're that. And once you remember, as soon as you remember, then everything else is less important. You can still live your life, but it's not going to bother you so much anymore. Now, it's really important that you don't let the mind grab onto these words or these ideas and start thinking about them. It won't lead to anything good. Okay. Just keep drawing attention back to your experience of what is body and breath, and keep looking into who you are, who's watching all this, and rely on what you notice, what you experience, and not on what the mind creates out of those experiences. And if you stick to that, just the experience and just leaving the thoughts alone, then everything will fall into place on its own. So I just wanted to pause and see if there are any questions at this point, anything you wanted to ask or clarify, or any comments as well. And if you're not sure how to unmute yourself, if you just wave, I can unmute you. Sometimes tricky. No? Okay. So before we finish up, I just want to emphasize that the idea of yourself as this person is fine for practical matters, for navigating the world, for planning ahead, for learning from experience. It's totally fine. It's only a problem when we get so caught up in that we believe it to be who we are ultimately. So this practice begins as a way for that person to feel better, to have a different experience of the world. But where we're moving to tonight is that person is being seen for what it is. There's just a bunch of thoughts, a bunch of stories in the mind. And as we look into our actual experience, we can see that it's all just thoughts and stories and pictures and words appearing within this vast awareness that is what you are. I don't know, I think that's pretty cool. So I've said too much already. You know too much already. So forget the words and just keep coming back to the experience. Come back to the experience and all will be well. And feel free to, if the words are causing difficulty, feel free to contact me and I'm happy to clarify as best I can. Well, thanks for joining tonight and for being a part of this. And plan is to be back again next week, same time. So feel free to join again, and I'll put the recording of this up on YouTube and on iTunes when I can. So if you want to check it out again, you can. And as I say, feel free to contact me with any questions. And just, yeah, thank you. See you next time.